Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode
of Cooking with Numbers.
Today we're going to show you how to bake a cake with using fractions.
This is going to be so much fun. I can't wait to tuck into some delicious cake.
First of all, we need to measure out our ingredients. This is where the fractions come in, but don't be scared. We're going to show you just how easy it is to use fractions, especially when looking at a recipe.
When we're cooking, we use the metric system to measure out our ingredients and things like our oven temperature. We mostly use measuring cups and spoons now to make our measuring system just a little bit easier to use.
The biggest cup we have measures for 1 whole cup. All of the other cups that we have in front of us measure for much smaller fractions of a whole. We often don't need a whole cup for certain ingredients, which is why we have these ones. When we look at them, we can actually see that you can add some of them together to make 1 whole. Do you think that we can do that today with some of our cake ingredients?
Definitely. When we look at the recipe, it says we need 1 cup of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of self-raising flour, 2/3 of a cup of cocoa, and 1/2 cup of milk.
So how are we supposed to measure out all of these ingredients without using all of these cups?
Well, if we look at the recipe, there are a few cups we can use to save time and washing up. We don't want to have to wash up 4 different cups, do we?
Definitely not.
With these ingredients, we can add smaller cups to each other to make the amount we need. If we look at the number line as if it's a whole cup, we can figure out how to use the least amount of cups possible using fractions. If we need 3/4 of a cup of flour and a whole cup of sugar, we can use quarters to make a whole. We can do this because all quarters have the same denominator, making it very easy for us to add them together. We just have to add the top numbers, the numerators, together and keep the denominator the same.
It takes 4 quarters to make a whole, so we can use the 1/4 cup 4 times and add each quarter to make 1 whole cup. With our flour, we don't need a whole cup, just 3/4 of a cup. So, using our timeline, we know that if we add 3 1/4 cups to each other, we will have enough flour for our recipe.
Now with our cocoa, it doesn't have the same denominator as the flour or sugar. We need 2/3.
This time we can add 2 1/3 of a cup together to make 2/3 of a cup.
Next we need to measure out our milk. The recipe says we need 1/2, which is equal to 2/4. This is just one of the fun things you can do with fractions.